Alex had never imagined that sharing a room with an alien could be this complicated. When he first got assigned to the Interstellar Research Station, he thought the hardest part of his job would be fixing the station's malfunctioning systems or dealing with zero-gravity laundry. He never expected it would be understanding alien moods, especially during mating season. His roommate, Zairi, was from a species that fascinated scientists and terrified everyone else. Her kind had skin that shimmered in shifting colors, a network of tendrils that could sense the environment, and behaviors that were complicated. Alex had heard stories from the older crew members, the kind of whispered tales that made newcomers uneasy. Mating season, they said. Don't get trapped in it. Of course, Alex hadn't understood what that really meant until it happened to him. The day started like any other. Alex floated into their shared quarters, carrying his toolbox and a cup of nutrient gel. Zairi was already there, perched on the edge of a floating platform that served as her bed. Her tendrils drifted gently in the low-gravity air, and her skin reflected a soft blue-green light. "Morning, Zairi," Alex said cautiously, setting down his things. "How's the data analysis going?" Zairi's skin flickered yellow, which Alex had learned meant she was alert or curious. "Morning, human," she said in her melodic, slightly echoing voice. "I am processing the environmental data. It is stable," Alex nodded. That was good enough for him. He didn't have time to figure out every nuance of her language. Some of it was pheromonal and impossible for him to understand without special sensors. He was just about to plug his workstation into the main console when the station gave a sudden shudder. Red lights blinked across the hall. An automated voice announced, "Containment protocol activated. All personnel must remain in assigned quarters. Unauthorized movement is prohibited." Alex's stomach dropped. Containment protocol meant that the station had locked down their rooms. No one could leave until the security systems verified that the area was safe. "Looks like we're stuck here for a while," Alex said, trying to keep his voice light. Zairi's skin shifted to a pale, glowing lavender. Alex had learned that this often indicated something approaching nervousness or excitement. He forced a smile. Everything okay?" It is difficult to explain," Zairi said. Her tendrils twitched in the air. "The cycle is beginning." Alex froze. He remembered the warnings. The cycle was the start of mating season. He swallowed hard. "Oh, right, mating season." Zairi's species had a natural biological cycle that intensified every few years. During this period, their instincts became overwhelming. It was completely natural for her kind, but for a human trapped in the same room, it was complicated. Alex didn't exactly know what to expect, but he had a general idea. He had to stay calm, stay respectful, and most importantly, avoid doing anything that might trigger her instincts further. Zairi's tendrils curled closer to her body, and her skin flickered through shades of pink and violet. Alex noticed a faint but distinct scent in the air, a pheromone-like odor he had read about in the station's research archives. His head was spinning, both from the smell and from the fact that he was completely unprepared for this situation. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Alex asked, trying to keep his tone steady. He didn't want to make things worse. Zairi's eyes, large, luminous, and shifting in color, focused on him. "Perhaps," she said softly, "but you must remain calm. Do not panic. It will worsen otherwise." Alex nodded quickly. "Okay, calm, got it." Totally calm. He took a deep breath and reminded himself, humans had survived worse situations before. He could handle this. Hours passed. Alex floated around the room, trying to do tasks to distract himself, checking the air filters, logging data, repairing a minor leak in the wall panel. But Zairi's behavior was unpredictable. Every now and then, her skin would flare into bright patterns. Her tendrils would sway in ways he didn't understand, and the pheromonal air would thicken. Alex had to keep reminding himself that it was natural for her species. He could not panic, no matter how confusing it all was. At one point, Zairi drifted close to him, her tendrils brushing the side of his arm. He flinched, but she recoiled immediately, recognizing his discomfort. "I apologize," she said. "I did not intend to cause alarm." "It's okay," Alex said quickly. "Really, it's new for me, that's all." Zairi tilted her head, her skin flickering through a calm, soft green. "I understand. Humans react differently. I must regulate myself." Alex noticed she seemed tense. He remembered the research notes. During mating season, controlling one's instincts required focus and sometimes interaction. "Maybe I can help somehow," he suggested cautiously. "Do you want me to, do something specific?" Zairi paused, her skin shifting to a faint orange. "Perhaps presence. Your calm presence may aid me." Alex blinked. "My presence, just me being here." "Yes," she said. "Do not overthink. Do not panic. That is enough." Alex floated near a corner of the room, giving her space but keeping her within sight. Time passed slowly. He worked on keeping his breathing steady, reminding himself that humans had faced alien situations before, and this was just another problem to solve. A few hours into the lockdown, Zairi suddenly changed posture. She floated toward a small panel on the wall and her tendrils extended to manipulate it. The soft lights in her body flickered rapidly, an indication of high stress. "What's happening?" Alex asked. "My cycle intensifies," she said. "If not managed, it will spread to other nearby aliens through pheromones. It can cause disruption station-wide." Alex's heart sank. He hadn't realized the scale of the problem. He might be the only human who could keep things under control while Zairi managed her instincts. He had to stay calm. He had to think. He remembered reading that her species responded well to rhythmic movements and soothing sounds during this time. Alex grabbed a small portable speaker and started playing gentle, steady music. Zairi's skin slowly shifted from frantic violet to a soft turquoise. She drifted close but not too close, moving in time with the rhythm. "Better?" Alex asked quietly. "Yes, better," Zairi said. "Your method aids me. I did not expect this." Alex smiled, though he was exhausted. "Humans have ways to help. We just have to think creatively." Hours turned into a full day. The two of them developed a rhythm. Alex learned to anticipate her mood shifts, and Zairi began to rely on his calm presence and subtle interventions. Every small success was a relief, every misstep a tense reminder of what could happen if he panicked. By the time the containment protocol finally lifted, both were exhausted. The station lights returned to normal, the air filtered the pheromones, and Zairi's skin returned to its normal calm shade. "I appreciate your help," Zairi said softly, her tendrils curling gently. "Few humans could have endured this." Alex exhaled and floated to his bed. "Well, I guess I learned a lot today. Mostly that alien biology is way more complicated than my engineering manuals." Zairi's skin flickered a faint blue, almost like a smile. "You adapted. That is impressive." Alex chuckled, though he felt drained. "Thanks. I think we make a decent team, even if it's unconventional." Zairi tilted her head. "Yes, unconventional, but effective. That is important." As he drifted into a restless sleep, Alex realized something remarkable. Humans had survived countless challenges by thinking, observing, and adapting. Today, he had done it again, navigating alien instincts, pheromones, and behaviors that seemed impossible to understand. And somehow, he had made a connection with Zairi, a bond that might shape the rest of their time on the station. He didn't know what the next mating season would bring, but he knew he was ready, or at least, he hoped he was. After all, humans thrived in the unknown, and this was just another challenge to face with curiosity, patience, and a steady heart. And somewhere in the back of his mind, Alex had to admit, despite all the confusion, the stress, and the pheromones, he found the experience strangely fascinating. He had survived, learned, and even helped someone else survive. And in the vast universe, that was what humans did best. The night passed quietly, with Zairi settled in her corner and Alex floating on his bed, both recovering from the ordeal. Tomorrow would bring more research, more challenges, and perhaps more surprises. But for now, Alex allowed himself a small, triumphant smile. He had faced mating season with an alien roommate and lived to tell the tale. The morning sun, or rather, the soft glow of the station's artificial lights, shone through the viewport, painting the quarters in pale orange. Alex woke with a stiff neck, the memory of yesterday's ordeal still fresh in his mind. He flexed his fingers and floated to the workstation, trying to ignore the lingering tension in the room. Zairi was already awake, her skin flickering in soft green tones, a sign of calm alertness. Alex gave a small wave. "Morning," he said, "feeling more normal today." Zairi's eyes focused on him, large and shimmering, and her skin briefly shifted to yellow, a sign of cautious curiosity. "Yes, more controlled, but the cycle is intensifying. The station sensors indicate that other members of my species are beginning their mating season in nearby sectors. I may need assistance beyond mere presence." Alex swallowed. Yesterday had been challenging, but this sounded much worse. It wasn't just about managing Zairi now, it could affect multiple parts of the station. He tried to keep his voice steady. "Okay, let's think this through. What can we do to contain it?" Zairi's tendrils twitched as she considered. "There are methods. Patterns of light, rhythmic sound, and controlled movement. They must be coordinated. Without proper regulation, the pheromones will disperse and cause unintended reactions in others." Alex nodded, mentally reviewing everything he had learned yesterday. He remembered how music and steady presence had helped Zairi regulate herself. If he could expand on that, maybe they could prevent chaos. "All right, let's try a plan," he said. "You guide me, I'll follow. We'll work together." Zairi's skin flickered a soft, approving blue. "Yes." Together, the first challenge was timing. The sensors showed that the peak intensity would occur within the next few hours. Alex and Zairi moved around the quarters, testing different light patterns using portable panels and adjusting the station's low-gravity environment to create a sense of calm. Alex hummed softly, trying to imitate natural rhythms that Zairi's species found soothing. Her skin slowly shifted from erratic violet to steady turquoise. "You are adapting quickly," Zairi said. "Your responses are effective. Humans rarely comprehend the subtleties of pheromone cycles so fast." Alex smiled faintly. "We're good at observing, learning, and improvising. That's humans for you." Hours passed in careful, meticulous work. Zairi moved gracefully around the room, her tendrils adjusting the light panels and sensors, while Alex handled the technical aspects, calibrating sound, monitoring pheromone readings, and keeping both of them safe. The teamwork was surprisingly effective. He noticed something remarkable. Despite their very different species, they communicated almost instinctively. One glance, one flicker of color, and they understood each other. As the peak time approached, the room began to feel heavier with pheromones. Alex could sense the intensity rising in the air. He took a deep breath and adjusted the sound frequency of the music. Zairi's tendrils waved gently, directing him to make subtle changes in light intensity. The room transformed into a carefully tuned environment designed to regulate her instincts. "You are performing well," Zairi said. "I can feel the regulation taking effect." Alex's stomach knotted with nervousness, but he continued. "Just keep following my lead and we'll get through this, step by step." Then the unexpected happened. A sudden alarm blared through the station, sector-wide contamination detected. Other aliens in adjacent quarters were beginning their mating season, and pheromones had started drifting through the ventilation system. The potential for chaos was enormous. Alex's heart raced. "Zairi, we need to expand the regulation. Can we reach the vents?" Zairi's eyes flickered in thought. "Yes, but it will require precise coordination. If we miscalculate, it may worsen." Alex didn't hesitate. "We can do it. We have to." The two floated toward the vent access panels, Zari directing him with quick, flowing gestures while Alex adjusted his tools. Together, they installed temporary filters and directed rhythmic sound waves into the ventilation system. The pheromones began to stabilize in the adjacent quarters, reducing the risk of uncontrolled reactions. "You humans are clever," Zari said, a hint of admiration in her voice. "Few of my kind would trust your species to manage this." Alex chuckled, trying to stay lighthearted despite the stress. "Well, we survive by solving problems. That's what we do." Hours passed as they worked tirelessly. Every adjustment required careful observation and coordination. Alex began to understand Zari's species better than any human on the station. He could anticipate her movements, interpret subtle color changes, and even predict how certain light patterns would affect her pheromones. It was exhausting, but exhilarating. At one point, Zari's skin shifted to a warm, golden hue, an indication of trust and calm satisfaction. "You understand me," she said softly. "I did not expect this. Humans rarely comprehend the depth of instinct." Alex smiled, though fatigue weighed on him. "I guess we just need to pay attention and be patient. It's not magic, just observation and care." By late afternoon, the situation in the station was stable. The pheromones were contained, the mating cycles were under control, and the adjacent sectors were no longer at risk. Alex and Zari floated in the center of their quarters, both breathing heavily in low gravity, their skin and color patterns slowly returning to normal. "We managed," Zari said, her tone calm but laced with relief. "You were vital to this success." Alex nodded. "I think we make a pretty good team, even if it was intense." Zari's skin flickered a soft lavender, almost like a smile. "Yes, intense, but effective, that is valuable." Despite the relief, Alex felt a sense of pride. Humans had faced countless challenges in space, and today they had faced one that required understanding, empathy, and quick thinking. Zari's species was complex, but Alex had found a way to help, using only observation, logic, and patience. As the station settled into normal operations, Zari drifted closer, her tendrils brushing gently against the floating console. "Human," she said softly. "I feel a connection, not merely survival but understanding. You endured what few others could." Alex's heart skipped a beat. "I guess we understand each other better than I thought." Zari's eyes glimmered in the soft light. "Yes, better. Perhaps this bond will aid us in the future. Your species has potential that is remarkable." Alex laughed quietly. "Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment." They spent the rest of the evening repairing minor station systems, floating in quiet cooperation. The bond between them had grown, not romantic, but a profound understanding of trust and teamwork. Alex realized that humans had always survived by adapting to the unknown, and this was another example. Late at night, Alex floated to his bed platform, exhausted but satisfied. Zari settled in her corner, her skin a calm blue. For the first time, Alex felt that he had faced an alien challenge and come out not just unharmed, but stronger. He had learned more about patience, observation, and teamwork than he could have imagined. As he drifted into sleep, he reflected on the day. He had survived mating season with an alien roommate, prevented station-wide chaos, and even earned her trust. It was a victory for human ingenuity, patience, and resilience. And he knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new puzzles to solve, and perhaps more opportunities to prove that humans could thrive even in the most unexpected situations. For now, he allowed himself a small smile. He had faced the unknown and lived to understand it. That, he realized, was what humans did best. The following morning, the station was quiet, almost eerily so. Alex floated through the corridors, carrying a maintenance kit and trying to appear calm. Zari was beside him, moving with her usual grace, her tendrils gently drifting in the low-gravity air. After the intense day they had endured, The quiet felt strange but welcome. It was a moment of calm before the next challenge. Alex glanced at her, noting the subtle flickers of her skin. The soft turquoise indicated she was calm, but he knew that the peak of the mating season was not over. It would be even more intense in the next few hours. He swallowed nervously, reminding himself that patience and observation were his greatest tools. "Are you ready for today?" he asked. Zairi's skin shifted to a pale green, showing cautious readiness. "Yes, I have rested and the system is stable, but we must remain vigilant." "The cycle reaches its highest intensity today," Alex nodded. "All right, let's do this together." They entered their shared quarters and began preparing. Alex adjusted the light panels, creating subtle shifts in color and intensity that he had observed to help regulate Zairi's instincts. He set up the portable sound modules, programming them with calming rhythms designed to mimic patterns that her species found soothing. Zairi's tendrils moved over the panels, fine-tuning their positions with incredible precision. For the first time, Alex realized how much trust she had placed in him. She relied on his knowledge of technology, his human problem-solving skills, and his calm presence. Despite being from entirely different species, they worked as a team, each compensating for the other's weaknesses and amplifying their strengths. The first signs of the peak arrived slowly. The air in the room thickened slightly with pheromones, and Zairi's skin began flickering between pink and lavender, the early signs of heightened instinct. Alex floated close, monitoring the sensors he had set up. "Remember what we practiced," he said softly. "Focus on the lights, the sound, and your breathing." Zairi nodded, her tendrils curling in acknowledgement. "I will. Your methods are effective. I feel supported." As the intensity increased, Alex had to act quickly. He adjusted the rhythm of the music and the brightness of the panels, following Zairi's subtle cues. Every flicker of her skin, every shift of her tendrils was a signal. If he misread even slightly, the pheromones could escape and affect nearby quarters, causing disruption in the station. Hours passed with careful precision. Alex realized that the stakes were higher than ever. Other aliens in the station had begun their mating cycles, and the ventilation system still posed a risk. He floated to the nearest vent access, carrying the portable sound modulators, while Zairi guided him with swift gestures. Together, they installed the devices to stabilize pheromone flow throughout the adjacent quarters. "You are extraordinary," Zairi said quietly, her skin flickering to a calm teal. "Humans rarely show such patience and foresight. Your species has potential." Alex smiled, though his arms ached from holding the devices. "Thanks. I guess we just need to think creatively and stay calm. That's what humans do." By midday, they had successfully stabilized the peak. The pheromones in the surrounding quarters were contained, and Zairi's cycle was regulated. She floated near Alex, her skin a soft green and tendrils gently brushing the edge of the console. "I feel gratitude," she said, "not only for your help but for your understanding. Few of my kind trust humans to manage instincts so effectively." Alex chuckled lightly, relieved. "Well, we humans survive by solving problems, and today we solved a big one." Despite the relief, Alex knew the day wasn't over. The peak was behind them, but there would be lingering effects to monitor. He adjusted the sound modules and light panels to continue regulating Zairi's instincts, ensuring a smooth transition as the cycle waned. Zairi drifted closer, her tendrils lightly touching one of the panels. "Human, I feel a connection, not merely survival but understanding. You endured what few others could. I trust you." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Trust from an alien species was rare and meaningful, especially from one as instinct-driven as Zairi's. "I feel the same," he said softly. "We understand each other. That's what makes this work." For the next few hours, they moved in perfect synchrony. Alex adjusted panels, monitored sensors, and maintained a steady presence, while Zairi guided him with precise gestures and subtle skin changes. Together, they managed not only her cycle, but also prevented any spillover from affecting the station. It was exhausting work, but the rhythm they had developed made it almost seamless. Finally, the intensity began to fade. Zairi's skin returned to a calm blue and her tendrils relaxed. The pheromones in the air dissipated quickly thanks to the filters they had installed. Alex floated back, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle into his bones. "We succeeded," Zairi said softly, her voice filled with relief. "You are remarkable, human. Your species shows adaptability, patience, and ingenuity. You embody traits that inspire confidence." Alex smiled faintly. "Thanks. I guess humans have always faced challenges like this: unknown environments, strange species, unexpected problems. We adapt, we learn, and we help each other survive." Zairi's eyes glimmered with a subtle light. "Yes, survival, but also understanding. You prove that humans can navigate instinct, trust, and cooperation, even across species. You demonstrate strength in subtle ways." As the day ended, Alex and Zairi floated in quiet companionship, the stress of the mating season behind them. There was no fear, no tension, only calm, mutual respect. Alex realized that humans survived not only by strength but by intelligence, empathy, and the ability to adapt to the unknown. Today, they had done exactly that. Later, as they prepared for rest, Zairi shifted closer to Alex, her tendrils brushing gently against his arm. "Human, I appreciate your presence. It helped me navigate the cycle. I would not have managed without you." Alex felt a surge of pride. "I'm glad I could help. And I've learned a lot too, not just about your species, but about how humans can work with the unknown. That's what makes us strong." Zairi's skin flickered with a soft lavender glow, almost like a smile. "Yes, strong. And capable of understanding in ways that transcend instinct. You are exceptional, human." Alex chuckled quietly, exhausted but happy. "Thanks, but we did it together. That's what really matters." As they floated in their quarters, watching the gentle glow of the station lights, Alex realized something remarkable. Humans had always survived by adapting, learning, and helping one another. Today, he had applied those same principles to an alien species, navigating instincts, pheromones, and behaviors that seemed impossible to understand. He had not only survived, but he had also helped another being thrive. Zairi's presence was calm and reassuring. Her trust was a silent acknowledgement of his efforts and of the unique connection they had formed. It was a bond built not on words, but on understanding, respect, and shared experience. Alex knew it was rare, perhaps unprecedented, that a human and an alien could work so seamlessly in such a high-stakes situation. The rest of the night passed quietly. Alex floated to his bed, Zairi settling in her corner. For the first time since the cycle began, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment and relief. They had faced the unknown together, and they had emerged stronger and more connected because of it. As he drifted into sleep, Alex reflected on the events of the past days. Humans survived and thrived because of their ability to think, to adapt, and to act with empathy and courage. He had demonstrated that today, not through brute force, but through observation, intelligence, and patience. And for Zairi, the experience had shown that humans could be trusted, that they could navigate alien instincts with care, and that cross-species cooperation was not only possible but powerful. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new puzzles to solve, and perhaps new surprises in the vastness of space. But Alex knew one thing for certain. Humans could face the unknown and turn it into opportunity, just as they had today. They could survive, adapt, and thrive, even in the most unexpected situations. For now, the station was calm. The mating season had passed, the pheromones had dissipated, and both human and alien had learned something invaluable. They had faced chaos and uncertainty together, and had found order through cooperation, understanding, and trust. Alex allowed himself a small, satisfied smile as he drifted into sleep. He had survived the most intense challenge of his life, and had done so alongside a being from a species more alien than he had ever imagined. And in doing so, he had proven once again that humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how strange or unfamiliar the universe became. The stars outside the viewport glimmered softly. Somewhere far away, other beings faced their own challenges, but here, in this tiny corner of space, a human and an alien had survived together. They had proven that intelligence, empathy, and courage were universal strengths. And Alex knew that as long as humans had those traits, they could face anything the universe threw at them and thrive.